He literally says he sees the DSR counter stopped.
Alright, we're back for round 2 of the best of 3. We'll be going pretty soon, hopefully.
Welcome back, everyone. So this is still the 2021 Breath of the Wild any percent tournament. Even though you're seeing a Pokemon battle on Tapir's screen, I guess Tapir had a really rough first run, didn't he, Crazy?
He certainly did, and you know, everyone decompresses in their own way. If I had to guess, I'd say Piston walked away from the game after that last race too, given that he let the credits all roll. So,
yeah,
you know, both of our runners probably not getting the races that they would have hoped to see, and you know, just gonna do a mental reset and try to put up a better race this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Speedrunning as much a mental game as it is about routing and tricks and dexterity and execution. And so runners typically have some rituals to kind of get into the zone, and we saw a little bit of Tapir's. I guess while we're waiting for the second race to start, Crazy, you ran in this tournament. Did you have any pre-game rituals that you preferred?
Not particularly. My thing was basically like I'd do a no reset run beforehand, maybe, you know, practice the Ganon fight a bit, and then sort of like 10 minutes before I just sort of put everything down and just like chill. That seemed to be what worked best for me.
All right, beginning our countdown.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, as we said, best of 3. Piston has the advantage, so a win by iTNTPiston here would make him get him out of the losers bracket semifinal and go on to the losers bracket final. A win by Tapir here would tie up this best of 3, and we would go to our third match to determine who's going to win. Because this is a double elimination tournament, both of these runners have lost in a previous round, and losing here would unfortunately eliminate them from the tournament, although regardless, they are top 4. The winner will go on to face the loser of the Player 5 Daniel M1110 match, which will be happening sometime soon.
Both runners, I think, losing the Player 5 in the winner's bracket to move down into the loser bracket, actually.
That certainly is possible. I don't remember how Piston got eliminated. That is indeed correct, yes. Back in the winner's bracket quarterfinals. Or, I guess, yeah, quarterfinals.
All right, synchronized Sheikah Slate cutscenes here. Let's see the clip again.
We see a difference in region between our two runners. Piston is running with European French, while Tapir is running on the American French, or Canadian French.
Yes, the capital S versus the lowercase s.
Yes. French is the fastest language for running any percent in Breath of the Wild. Piston's European French is ever so slightly faster by 10 frames. And this is all based off of the voice acting for the few cutscenes we see in any percent.
Yeah. And if you're wondering, yes, different members of the community have timed every single voice acting cutscene. So that's how we know French is faster. All right. We're going to expect to see new plateau from both of these again. Quickly move to that being the default route for any percent.
Yeah, neither of our runners particularly struggled on plateau last time. There were a few mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Notably, Tapir on the boulder launch was kind of rough. I want to say Piston. Piston had some issues with Amiibo. I'm trying to remember if he had another issue somewhere. Either way, the castles were really the challenge spot of those runs, and so our runners are just going to try and pull off as clean a plateau as they can and get back into that castle section, which they will hope to do much better.
Piston, an unfortunate bonk against that slab there. All right, both get through Temple of Time. No problem with that clip. Tapir had some issues getting this slide off at first, so we'll see if his angle's a little better this time.
Does drop the pot the first time. Oh, Piston's pot breaks, and he's likely gonna have to fight the Boko now as well.
Boko's just looking right now, so Piston's gonna do this slow walk over here to these other rocks and try to get the BLSS off. Tapir much smoother this time and gets the clip reusing skew.
Nicely done. Yeah. Piston not getting a good initial launch off of that BLSS spot, and meant that he had to sort of do a little more wiggling from scratch.
Yeah,
accelerating with the pot is really weird. Has this sort of interesting effect where it only wants to accelerate you when you turn around 180, which is not great for going in directions that you want to go.
In case you were wondering why. Oh, there we go with, finish that later. Tapir misses Gamer Wind Bomb this time, and we see that Pepper come in handy there. Tapir survives on a half heart, and he'd be dead without eating a pepper while he was in the air.
Wow, you are way ahead of me.
I'm seeing Tapir finish Bomb Shrine right now.
Alright, now I am too. Yeah. Alright.
Piston doesn't make Gamer Wind Bomb either this time. Yeah, going back to the Temple of Time sequence, if you're wondering why Piston sort of slow walked to the other rocks to set off the slide, you actually can't run when you're in the BLSS state. You can only walk. Trying to hold down the sprint button will just stop you in place.
Yeah, there's some pretty weird interactions happening when you're in that state.
Yeah, I don't think I fully understand what exactly is going on. Like, I know how to do the inputs and how the glitch works, but couldn't really tell you what exactly the game is doing to Link at that time.
Yeah, it's certainly a weird state that you're not expected to end up in.
Here's first off. We're expecting him to go to Magnesis and just directly clip in. But Piston will go to Magnesis and scan Amiibo.
Yep. The difference doesn't really make... There's no real difference there. Just when our runners choose to do it. I guess there might be a... I feel like I had this talk with Tapir about the menuing. I feel like Tapir might end up doing a little more menuing as a result of doing it afterwards. Simply because the next rune that you're going to use after Magnesis is the bomb. And Piston will use the bomb inside to clear Ragdoll. So, but that's really that is so on the margins, particularly in these race timings.
Yeah, I guess Piston moves. Piston moves 2 right to the amiibo? I'm working this out in my head now. But then Tapir will have to move 3 right to the amiibo after he completes the shrine, because he'll be on the bomb from the Ragdoll reset, but then he has Magnesis as an extra rune. So Piston saving, what, like 4 frames?
It's really minimal. But yeah, Tapir will have to menu back as well after the amiibo scan. Ooh, luckily Tapir cleared the gap there.
Okay, scary. so that's, yeah, so Tapir's going to lose a little bit extra time there because the shot from the Guardian takes him away from full hearts, but doesn't reset his Ragdoll state. So Tapir ate an extra pepper to go back to full hearts and then bombed himself. Because the way you survive a bomb explosion is the one-shot protection that the game gives you.
Does it not fix the Ragdoll state?
I think it does not. Okay. And Tapir doing that, blowing himself with the bomb after getting shot, tells me that he doesn't believe it resets the Ragdoll either.
Fair enough, or that could just be muscle memory. I guess if the shot itself doesn't make you Ragdoll outside of Ragdoll glitch, then maybe it doesn't fix the Ragdoll state.
Yeah.
This hasn't really been a concern before, so not familiar with all those intricacies.
Yeah, it definitely makes this Guardian just a little more annoying than it used to be, because it can just do that. All right, let's see how Tapir gets up this hill.
It's looking like a very clean BLSS over 2 bombs by Tapir.
Yeah, normally you can't gain any height from BLSS, but if the slope is gentle enough and that ramp up there is just gentle enough to push you up, you can go up it while you're sliding. But kind of just being off on your angle just a little bit, and you can get stuck in this area for a good 20 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, we see the Piston there didn't have quite the momentum going in that Tapir did, and took a little more wiggling to get up it. Another cool thing to note, we talked about reusing skew from the Temple of Time clip to bombs last time, but both of our runners are also going to be reusing their skew that they used to get into Magnesis to get into stasis here. Ooh.
It's very just close. Cleared. Yeah. Alright, let's see how Tapir does on the stasis wind bomb. Flops on his shield, resets Ragdoll. He's gonna do early circle, wait for 1/3 stamina to go away, and then detonate. Gets a really clean wind bomb to the end of the shrine.
That was very nicely done. Tapir now with about a full shrine's lead on Piston.
Mm-hmm. All of that owing to the initial issues with the Boko and getting the BLSS out of Temple of Time set up.
Yeah. The Piston there doing a durability cancel before the Ragdoll clear. Oh my, that's not a good wind bomb. Piston now has plenty of food, particularly because of amiibos, so should just be able to back this up.
All right, getting a sense of like what might have happened to Tapir on the boulder launch last race. Tapir has this particular angle on the boulder launch that's like really tight. He angled the boulder into the cliff so that he could like immediately climb and then not lose any time from flying through the air and falling. And so he's just a little off from that. He is going to get hit by the boulder or the side of the cliff.
If you're not liking the skew for his ESC or losing it, but man, just get a second try there. Ooh, Piston missing an arrow there. That's, yeah, the timing on that doing that boulder launch is really tight with the spear because you have to do so many hits in order to charge it up.
Yeah, it's so I forget what we said, 8 or 9 hits, and before it was just four spins with the axe, so
yeah,
which gave you plenty of time. Plenty of time to get on top of the rock.
I believe Tapir was actually doing 10 hits, so yeah, that really just much slower and means that the time you have to climb on is much tighter.
Oof. I think Tapir would have survived on a quarter heart there, but eating a pepper just in case.
Yeah. Of course, we'll never know. There's definitely a mechanic on this game known as food fall damage cancels. If you eat because you're worried about fall damage, you will suddenly take less fall damage than you expected. It's proven.
Yeah, I think Breath of the Wild's physics engine is famous for allowing for very open gameplay and also just not making sense sometimes.
Yeah. Tapir is going to be much happier with this plateau. Last time's was okay, but this is going to be actually a pretty solid time. He's going to come in, right around 16 on the race timer, which is going to put him at a 14, a very high 14 plateau on our leaderboard timing, which is very solid.
All right, Piston's gonna start his paraglider segment while Tapir gets ready for a BLSS to Castle. I guess get out your Prage emotes for an unloaded gate this time.
Definitely where the castle troubles started. Tapir with a pretty sizable lead going into this castle split. But we have seen just what Castle can do to these runners. And so this is by no means over.
All right, Piston's into the paraglider cutscene. All right, here we go. We're doing some speed caps right outside of Castle.
Yeah, that's not going to be great for his unloaded gate chances. But looks like he will be okay.
All right, there we go. Into Castle. Gate unloaded.
See him
Swapping
toggling the
shields.
shield.
Yeah, trying to get this claymore to load in. You sort of kind of see there, if you remember from race 1, Piston headshots the Moblin, which let him get the sneak strike prompt a little faster. Kind of the alternative, and what most runners do is what Tapir's doing here, which is kind of the slow walk to the Moblin. Piston doesn't look like he's getting up to top speed that quickly here.
No, in fact, I was sort of like watching him do it this last time. I was also thinking he's just sort of taking a more sort of slow and steady type approach to this BLSS. You see Tapir picking up that shield there. I don't know if that's on purpose, but it's possible that he's sort of looking at the lead he has and thinking that he should pick up some backup things for these fights.
All right, Tapir is ready for the out-of-bounds segment. And this was what gave him a ton of trouble in the first race. So let's see how he does with the mid-air and the follow-up wind bomb. Mid-air is good.
Piston also managing to get an unloaded gate this time. Nope. We saw Tapir there shoot off an arrow. As we talked about, he wants to get down to exactly 7 when entering these fights. So by being at 2 now, he'll pick up 5 in Zelda's study and be at the exact number he wants.
Yeah, when we talk about unloaded, things being unloaded, Breath of the Wild being an open world game, doesn't have kind of discrete levels. So sort of the, Tapir not getting the wind bomb inputs there. So the game kind of dynamically loads objects as you're traveling through the world, and if we travel fast enough, the game doesn't catch up. So we're kind of relying on the Switch being a not powerful device here in order to go fast.
We see Tapir's going to give his first attempt at Windblade skip. He actually takes a hard save here because this Windblade skip gave him some troubles in the last race. In this event, if it were to not work out how he wanted to, he wouldn't have to do the wind bomb backup.
Yeah, I think the place where you end up after the Windblade skip setup is sort of like safe ground for a hard save, so he should end up like right back in Sanctum in case, just in case he needs to.
Absolutely. Tapir now has a fairly commanding lead, but as we saw in the last set of runs, you can definitely die here, even as good as these runners are, and that has very big implications if you do die. So pulling off that nice little headshot there as Waterblade gets up.
The timing on that is really tight, but saves a good chunk of time not having to go through another void out of Waterblade.
Yeah, or use any more durability on your Claymore by having to hit him on the ground.
Right. Piston's successful with Windblight skip. He's in the fight. maybe a blight and a half behind at this point.
More like half a blight. He's on water blight, phase 1, while Tapir's on fire blight, or maybe a blight. hard to know.
I think the main thing to keep. Yeah, I think the main thing to consider here is that I think Tapir controls kind of the pace of the race at this point. If Tapir doesn't make a mistake in the next couple of minutes, he'll take the race. But we've got second phase, Thunderblight, and Calamity up next, and anything can happen there.
Yep, we did see both of our runners had a Calamity death last race, so we'll be looking for a cleaner ending.
All right, textbook Blight's fight for Tapir there.
Very nicely done. Should bode well for his sort of feeling on these fights going into Calamity. Starts off flurry rush there. Piston just barely missed the Fire Blight 1 cycle.
Calamity dancing around, doesn't want to give Tapir a laser, is now awfully close. Tapir electing to shoot the ancient arrows now. Oof.
Nice recovery there by Tapir. Yeah, Calamity really not giving him what he wanted, but some good improvisation, and yeah,
that was good
done.
use. That was a really good use of the ancient arrows, because the ancient arrows stun Calamity in place, and I guess that triggers. That's more likely to trigger a laser. Oof, but
I think it also just stopped him from getting too close so that he'd throw out a melee attack. He's Tapir.
All right,
pick up a back. Oh my! See Tapir there picking up a backup shield just in case, but manages to get the next thing he's given to parry.
Yeah, the Royal Shield obviously much stronger than the Potlet. Was able to block a spear attack and a blaster attack there, and give Tapir sort of the time to kind of get his timing on that parry, and Tapir's into the stun lock.
The ancient arrows are picked up in a chest inside castle. The bomb arrows get picked up from the outskirts of Sanctum. And Tapir with a very nice, clean fight there. This is going to be much better time for Tapir.
Seriously.
This is going to be a phenomenal race time for Tapir. And both our runners are gonna have done much better. Well, I'm sorry, Piston. That's on me. That's. I tried to stop talking, but it was too late.
Commentator's curse strikes. We see Piston parry a little too early for that fight. So it looks like we're going to get a game 3 because Tapir is in Dark Beast and we'll take race 2. I think projected Tapir's going to finish with like a 29 something with race time, which would be a 28 something or other.
I think it's going to be even faster than that. He entered Dark Beast with a 26 flat, and Dark Beast takes around 2.5 minutes, so he'll get like a 28:30-ish
race time, and then that's a 27:30-ish for our speedrun timing, which is fast.
Very fast. And that's also why you should never give up. As disappointed as Tapir was in that first race, he's went and put up a really solid one for the second race. And now the pressure is really going to be on Piston to see if he can, put up a good race in the last one.
A little bit of trivia here, and Crazy, correct me if I'm wrong. So, like in Tapir's stream, where we see French text, but we're hearing Japanese voice acting. So I think that if you set the console language to French, but then change the voice acting in-game to something else, the voice acting timings still follow whatever the console language is set to. And that's how Tapir is not losing any time, even though he's listening to the Japanese voice acting.
Yes, that is correct. I've heard that maybe listening to the Japanese voice acting does cost a frames level amount of time over still having the actual French voice going, but I don't know that for certain.
GG's Tapir. And looks like Piston has quit out of his game, so I assume that's a concession from him. But yeah, you were right, Crazy. 28:35 race time for Tapir. The timing for the speedrun leaderboards is 67 seconds faster, so that would put Tapir at a 27:28, which is an amazing time, better than most people's PBs.
Absolutely. So really nice